We're here at the Zacuto booth with Mr. Steve Weiss himself. We have a new product he's going to show us. This is the new EVF, and this thing's amazing.
Yep. Okay, here's what we're going to do. The Gratical HD, it comes in two flavors. It comes in an HD and an LT. The HD is 720p, but it's actually larger. So it's 720p across, but then it has this whole area below. So it's really 1024 by 1280, which is it's a 4:3 aspect ratio. So that gives you full HD on the top, and then below it, you have all the area to put in scopes and features. It's got a gazillion features.
Which is incredible. I mean, I just saw it now, and I was like, what? Those are part of it?
Right. So like what you saw is you saw our three-dimensional histogram. Okay. Now you can also turn that to a traditional histogram that's an RGB histogram. Then to the right of it, you had a beautiful waveform. I mean, I kind of designed it, and then we redesigned it because my buddy Mickey Jones in Australia said, you gotta have the numbers on there. And you know what, he was right, because I remember when you're shooting, you're going, wait a minute, you're going like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Right. But the area is big enough to have numbers. So many of these, you know, when it was over the video image area, that's annoying to me. So here, you noticed nothing on the image area, all of the data below it.
That's a really good point. It almost always is on the image. Right. And you have to often turn it off when you want it on still, just to frame or get focus or whatever.
Well, we worked with a company to design this micro OLED display, and the one thing that we wanted was to make sure that it was a 4:3 aspect ratio, knowing that we were going to put 16:9 across. Now you can move that. You can move it to the bottom, the 16:9. You can move it to the middle. You can reduce the size of the scopes and put them above and below. But I mean, there's other things besides scopes. You got audio meters. There's just a bazillion features in there.
And I see the connectivity. Looks like you have everything under the sun in terms of being able to convert and all that stuff. What's up with that?
First off, runs on a 5D battery, and it can run for about, you know, we've been running about 3.5 hours. So, you know, 2 batteries, you got the whole day. It's not worth trying to power it off another battery. When you, these things weigh, they're $60 and you can put them in your pocket.
Right.
So that's the battery power.
Label them with a P-touch when you're on set though, because you'll lose them all the time.
Good point. On the top, 2 HDMIs, one is an in, one is an out. 2 SDIs, one is an in, one is an out. When you come in the HDMI, it'll loop through and give you both an HDMI and an SDI out.
That's awesome.
Transcoding.
That's huge.
The SDI only goes in, out, and SDI because it's pretty rare that you're going to go from SDI and then decide I want HDMI gear. Sure. Now, you can create a LUT in here. So this camera, let's say you're recording RAW and you have the RAW up and you're looking in there. It's kind of hard to focus on that pasty white image. Yep. So you create a LUT, you know, in there, go into the color settings, make it all nice and pretty, save it as KCO1. You can save it internally or pop it out on a flash drive. You can then take that and stick it in your Resolve or DaVinci, and it'll bring the RAW image up to what you saw in here.
Oh, that's great. So this is accurate to what you're getting in post.
Well, you saw the colors.
That's amazing.
You know, it's very, I mean, it has 5.5 million pixels in there.
That's not that much.
Yeah, no. And those are actually individual light bulbs. And it's really more than that, because each pixel, there's 4 light bulbs in there because there's 4 dots in each pixel. So, and you can get true black. That's why you notice the color rendition, because if it's black, it turns the light off. You know, okay, so now we talked about how you can create a LUT in here. Here's the cool part. We haven't even got to that yet.
Oh.
It has a second LUT stream. That was weird.
Yeah. Guys, I'm sorry, that was very uncomfortable. Continue.
It was a streaker. So now you go in there, it'll say internal LUT stream, external LUT stream. External LUT stream, you go in, you can do the very same thing. You can decide, I want to have the histogram on, I don't want the scopes on, I want the color image to be KCO5, and you send that out the loop out to your producer's 10. So they can have whatever they want. I want to look at RAW in here, they want to look at color timed out there, you can do it.
All from this?
Yes, because that's a big issue. It's like a lot of people are like, wow, I like what I'm seeing here, but I need to see something different in the 10.
Right, my client needs to see a pretty image.
Right.
They can't see what they don't understand all the time that
Well,
things
I'm
change.
a director, or sometimes I'm in the tent and I want to see my waveform. I want to know where my,
right.
my peaking is.
So you can actually put that out to a director's monitor and whatnot.
Okay, wait.
Scopes.
Let me say it again. I can have 5 scopes on in here,
Right.
and 1 over there. Because
That's awesome.
you have a list. It starts off internal. You go through the list, done. External. Go through the list, done.
That's fantastic. So that's a lot of specification you can get into with this thing. I like the form factor a lot too. The design looks really nice.
Well, we screwed up, and so did everybody on the initial go around, where we made things wide, which is a problem because when your camera body's here, you're banging into the camera. So that was a problem. Jacks on the top, we learned much better, so the cable runs can all be on the top. Then for mounting, we decided that you really need the nodal point here to be so that it bends and twists it doesn't go whoosh, whoosh. A lot of them were doing that. So we put an airy rosette here, and we're using our axis mount here. And you also have a 1/4-20 on the bottom. Now, this is our new tripod, our Z18. And on this tripod, we have it set up with an eyepiece leveler right now, so that I'm going to show you how this works. So when I'm going from here to here, you see my feet aren't even moving. My body's just moving a little bit. Look at what I was looking at the image. I couldn't see it there.
It's funny. It was so seamless. I didn't even notice that was happening.
Yeah. How would I look in that?
Yeah.
Well, this is why this has been a traditional Hollywood system. So like here, I'm looking at the ceiling right now. Where are those? Look where they are, over my shoulder. So that's an eyepiece leveler and a front box. These are traditional tools that we use in filmmaking. When I take the lens off, where do I put it? On the ground? No, you put it in your box here.
Sure.
You got your tools, your tape measure, your marking pens, and all that kind of grease pencils. Now, the pod can handle this one. We have 3 models. This is the 1812, and we have an 8. This can handle 45-pound payload, which we could have about 35 pounds on here right now, because we got several EVFs and arms and all this stuff. It has carbon fiber legs, center spreader. Spreader can spread out. It also, when you collapse the legs, you can have a locking position with legs wider and in tighter. This is a really nice center spreader.
When did you guys get in the tripod game? Recently?
Yeah, 6 months ago.
Awesome.
We've been working on a lot of things right now. What's unique about this pod, it's approximately $3,500. We're not totally sure on the pricing yet. But
And it's a 45-pound payload.
Yeah, I mean, competitive products are twice plus. And there are no tripods under 20,000 that I know of that give you the ability to have front box mounts and eyepiece levelers. This pod comes with the attachments built in. Obviously, you got to buy an eyepiece leveler, which is about $400. And if you own an Access, so like the cool part is if you own the Access, you can swing it around to the front for handheld use, and then you swing it around to the back for eyepiece leveling. Yeah.
What's retail for the new EVF?
The Gratical, the HD model, again, not totally sure, but around $3,000. Its competitors are in the $4,000 and $5,000 range. The LT version is going to be about half this price, about $1,500. And there's one other feature that we're working on that should be available when we release this, which is these dedicated cables. If you use this camera and you come out the SDI, you don't get all the data that you get on the BOM. It comes out this cable. So we're working on cables that'll come out this cable and go into the SDI that'll give you all of the, like when you hit, pixel to pixel here, it'll show up in here.
Right.
And we're doing it for this camera, we're doing it for the C-series cameras, any camera that actually has a dedicated EVF port.
That's going to be nuts, man. And when do you think release date is going to be on this guy?
September, October.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a working model. I mean,
It works amazing model.
all day. There's one here, one there. You can go through all the menus, pre-programmed buttons. Here, if you get in close, you can even see I just turned on the false color.
Oh,
Here's your red line. Actually, with the red line, you can make it purple line. It's total spectrum color. Well, we thought it through, and the thing is I mean, our design process is this way. Because some people, get down on us about pricing or this or that. Although I think this is reasonably priced, considering the next best options are $4,000 and $5,000. We design the best product we possibly can. Jens and I, we sit in our office and we come up with a design. We worked with 5 engineering companies, an optical, an electronic, a mechanical. This isn't an easy thing. We have a huge amount of R&D. But when we design products, we come up with the coolest, best product we can, and then the pricing kind of falls where it does based on what we call the BOM, which is the bill of materials, and all your R&D. So I mean, I don't want to make something starting off saying, I want to make a $1,500 EVF. We do not do that.
Right. And you should never do that, and that's what makes Zacuto Zacuto.
That's what we do, man.
Steve, thank you very much.